Boston's Mayor Kim Janey is in studio with us this morning. Let's go on the record. She has stepped into the city's political spotlight. Now she must govern and campaign. Can this groundbreaking civic leader keep her winning streak going? Let's go on the record.
From WCVB Channel 5, the inside word from Washington to Beacon Hill. Today's newsmakers are going on the record.
Welcome to OTR on this first Sunday in May. I'm Ed Harding along with News Center 5's political reporter Janet Wu. Significant progress is being made in the battle against COVID-19. And here in Studio C, even though that significant progress is being made, we continue to follow social distancing protocols. Our large space is coming in very handy this morning because at the center desk is Boston's Mayor Kim Janey. In March, she became the first woman and first person of color to lead the city of Boston. That came about when Marty Walsh left to become Secretary of Labor. Now she would like a full term for mayor. So, Madam Mayor, thanks for being here. It's great to have you with us this morning.
Thank you.
And we know that part of the reason that you are able to come into the studio is because you're fully vaccinated. Is that correct?
Yes.
As are Ed and myself. You said you don't want to mandate vaccines for all city employees, but what about workers that have direct sort of continual contact with the public and, frankly, with you? Will they have to wear their masks longer, do you think?
Well, we still need to do what we know works, and certainly wearing face covering does protect us and it protects others. In terms of mandates, I think it is important that we provide information, that we provide opportunity, and, the hope is that everyone will get vaccinated.
But you're not going to force people or require it?
No, we won't force employees to get vaccinated. People need information. They need to make informed decisions for themselves. And we hope to continue to provide good information so that people can make informed decisions from trusted sources.
Will you require the ones that refuse to be vaccinated but have to deal with the public to wear their masks, during the duration before everyone is vaccinated or at least herd immunity is?
It is still important to wear face coverings, particularly when you are indoors. That is a practice that we know works, and we will continue to wear face coverings into the future.
You are roughly following Governor Baker's reopening schedule. You're paralleling it, but you're 3 weeks later in many regards due to the density of the population in Boston. So are you confident that you can ultimately convince more people who are leery of the vaccine to get the shot?
Eligibility just opened up not long ago in terms of 16 and above. We have made great progress. I'm really proud that we have seen a 41% decrease. We have 55% of the population having at least one dose of the vaccine. More than a third are completely vaccinated. Of that number, almost half are people of color. So we've been making strides in this area. We are a city that is densely populated. We are a city that has vulnerable populations that have been disproportionately impacted in terms of cases and in terms of deaths. So we have to continue to do what we know will protect our residents while also promoting our businesses.
Simply put, will the 3 weeks make a difference? What would happen in the 3 weeks?
It will give us an opportunity to get more people vaccinated. In that time frame, we are continuing to support our businesses, and we will continue to follow and be informed by the data. Should the data suggest that we are continuing on this trajectory and we can loosen up a little more sooner, we will. If the data suggests that we need to continue to protect ourselves and hold back, then that's what we will do. We will be informed by the data and make decisions that are best for the residents of Boston.
Why is it okay for Fenway and the Garden, which are obviously in Boston, to follow the state schedule but not the rest of the city? Is this a political decision that was taken out of your hands?
Well, there's a misconception that businesses aren't open. Businesses are open. In fact, our restaurants are at full capacity. They do need to continue to distance in terms of where the tables are set. But many of our businesses are up and running, and we need to continue to support that. I have done a number of things to help during this difficult time. It has been incredibly challenging for everyone, certainly our residents and also our business owners and our workers. So we have done a number of things to help support them, including the All Inclusive Boston campaign, that really is promoting our small businesses, really highlighting our neighborhoods and our diversity. We are supporting our businesses with the open outdoor seating, with the patios. There are a number of initiatives. Our Office of Economic Development is holding regular office hours, providing all kinds of support and technical assistance.
But you're not worried about people that may not have been vaccinated coming from outside into the city to go to a game?
Well, we have to, again, make sure that we are doing everything to keep ourselves safe and to protect those around us. So it is very important that we continue to follow the safety guidelines that we know work, and that is continuing to wear face masks or coverings, making sure that we are washing our hands, that we are keeping distance when we can. We know what works, and we've seen success here in Boston, and we need to continue on that road to recovery, reopening, and renewal for our city.
Not to belabor the point that Janet's bringing up, but Fenway Park is open. It's outside, it's open air. That's one thing. But the Garden is not. The Garden is a closed environment. It's an indoor environment.
Yes.
So are you concerned about that?
Well, they have moved up on their schedule in terms of capacity, and we have done the same in Boston. So we have much more capacity, which I just announced this past week.
So let's move on to one of the biggest challenges that you knew was facing you before you even took over the job as mayor, and that's naming the police commissioner. So how soon before Bostonians find out who that person will be?
Well, it was just a few days ago that we received the report. I certainly have to look at that to understand, what is in it. I have not been briefed as of yet. So I will certainly take the time necessary to make sure that we are making a very thoughtful decision in this regard. We know that this process was rushed in terms of making the initial decision, and we're not going to repeat that moving forward.
So just to be clear, this is the report on Dennis White, and you're saying that he was rushed into the position to begin with. That's what you're saying?
Well, it was a very quick decision. If folks recall, it happened all very quickly. I think moving forward, it is important to be very thoughtful and to take the time needed to make a good decision in this regard.
Are you okay? And this is maybe a headline, and I understand where reality is, but are you okay with the overtime that's being paid to officers? More than 30 of them make over $300,000 a year.
There are a number of things that I am looking at when it comes to reimagining policing in our city. Certainly, overtime spending has gotten out of control. In my FY22 budget, I have called for a decrease, a cut of a third of that, which equals $21 million. And we, more than that, more than just calling for a cut, we are making the strategic investments needed to ensure that we can deal with this challenge. We have seen, the number of officers out sick grow exponentially from 2016, where there were about 50 officers out on sick leave. Now there are more than 250 officers, and that represents about 10% of the force. And that puts incredible strain on overtime spending, and so we've got to deal with that. I have invested money in bringing 30 additional sworn officers onto the force, money in our budget for our cadet program, which will add 20 new cadets. And in addition to that, looking at racial equity training, there's investment there, and there's investment to look at overtime spending and help officers who are able to return to work do so.
Do you question the legitimacy of some of the people that are out on sick leave?
It's not for me to question. It is for me to make sure that we are making the necessary investments to deal with this challenge. If officers are out sick and they're sick and cannot work, then they need to take the time to heal. If they're able to come back, we will help them do that. If they're not able to come back ever, then we will help them retire with dignity.